wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll go.
Back here at Franciacorta for Prefinal-B for Okjunior. The karts come out onto the circuit, being led by the pole sitter, Okjunior, who will lead. And he will start on pole position. A few formation laps, of course, we had to dispense with the morning warm-up this morning due to the fog, which came in from the mountains in the north of Italy and covered the Franciacorta circuit. Okjunior will start on pole position alongside Christian Costoya. Salim Hane Hernandez, the Colombian, more to drive from him. Qualifying 85th at Lonato and storming through to take position 3 on the final lap of the race in round 1. Dries van Langendonk, the pilot van België. Fastest qualifier for round 1 of the series. Great to have all our Belgian and Dutch fans watching on live. Dries van Zolder, 351 in the energy kart. Scott, another Swede, he has been super impressive. There is the grid for you. Starting alongside Filippo Sala. As Luna Fuchs at the world debut for the Prema Racing team, the Glaswegian Zach Drummond. Boris Wisheni, Noah Wolf, the two-time British champion for the Lennox Racing team, out of grid 10. Louis Cochet, Lewis Francis, the impressive Australian out of 12, Bennett Gaspar, Jetta Samskulinov, Vlada Kovalchik in the CRG, Lev Krutogolov, Roman Kamyab, Tayam Sailor back in 18th after standing on the podium in the Champions Cup. Then we go to Leon Brunner and the round 1 winner, Alpak Soy. Guy Albag, Matt Corby, Kasai Guma, Rasmussen, Silkonis, Rael Zunzaden, Sasha Avril, KJ out of 28, alongside his countryman, Kian Fardin. Chartier, the Canadian, Busso, Simon Rekamagri is out, unfortunately. His weekend is over. Shimek, Jarrett Clark, Julio Miranda, and Arata Endo, the Japanese driver for Ward Racing, who has been quick here this weekend. We zijn klaar voor de volgende race. Elliot Kaczynski, sorry, I don't speak Swedish, so I can't do it for our Swedish fans watching on live from Scandinavia, even though their boy starts on pole position for this Prefinal-B. Cristian Costoya. Buenos días a todos in España. Cristian Costoya starts out of grid 2, the 3-time champion. If you are watching us live on our official coverage on WSK.IT, Motorsport TV, and also on our Facebook page on WSK Promotion, send us a message and let us know where in the world you are watching us from. Great to have your company for this round 2 of the WSK Supermasters Series. As we say good morning to our viewers watching on live from Thailand, from Belgium, from Canada, and from South Africa, to name just a few, and plenty of you watching on live from Sweden. There is Elliot Kaczynski on pole position for Prefinal-B. Just leave a message on the Facebook page of WSK Promotion. Give the page a like and also share our broadcast, our coverage of this round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series, as Luigi Caridi joins our coverage as well. Plenty watching on from here in the home nation of Italy. This is Prefinal-B for Okjunior, and it is the Swede who will lead from pole position. That is Kaczynski to the left of your screen, Costoya to the right. Kaczynski leads them up to the line, and we race. Costoya on the outside. He's pushed almost out onto the marbles, and Costoya from grid 2 holds on to it as Salim Hanna Hernandez goes up the inside, and the Colombian takes position 2. Nicely done by Costoya not to be pushed almost into the grass and the gravel, and the Spaniard holds on to position 3. Right behind him is another Swede driving another Tony Kart in the form of Scott Lindblom, the 3rd generation racer. Means business here this weekend, 3-2-0, and he's right on the back of the 3-time WSK mini champion Costoya. They race down the back straight for the first time. Under pressure, big time, is Elliot Kaczynski. Filippo Sala tries the outside line. Tries to make a move there as they come across the line. Sala in position 6, just ahead of Little Lunita from Mallorca in the middle of the Mediterranean. In the all-new world debut for the Prema Racing team, Luna. She's in position 7, just ahead of Noah Wolf. And the Zach attack, that's Drummond, the Glaswegian. Just a position behind is Lewis Francis, Jerry Skulinoff, Wisheni, Kyle Bag. Louis Colchet and the round 1 winner, Alpak Soy, started out of grid 20, but already the Turk, who's racing with heavy hearts this weekend, with a heavy heart, given what happened in his home nation a day after he took victory in Lanato. He's already made up 5 positions, and the driver from Istanbul in Turkey, the round 1 winner, Alpak Soy 3-2-1. He's already up into 15th place as we see Sala on the outside of Scott Lindblom. The Swede does lead. There is Salim Hanna Hernandez in position 2. We go back to Costoya. Lindblom, Sala, Alpak Soy now up into position 13 as he just goes by the CRG of the pole, Klara Kowalczyk. Prefinal-B for OKJ here at Franciacorta for the very first time. Elliot Kaczynski for Ward Racing. Meanwhile, Roman Kamyab with the fastest lap of the race in the early stages. The Brit for RFM 326 has just done a 49 there to 0.56. He's ahead of Bennett Gaspar, Lev Krutugolov, Kasai Aguma and Tayam Sailor as we see Kostoja go sailing up the inside. Yes, pun intended. He's gone through. Nicely done. And the Paralene into second place. And with that, Kaczynski has got something of a lead. The WSK Open Cup champion from 2022. El Colombiano, that is Salim Hernandez, slips back to P3. The driver to watch is right behind him. The driver to watch is right in front of him. Scott goes through, and the Swedes in the Tony Karts go 1 and 3. Kostoja in second place. Scott Lindblom has been lightning quick all weekend, and he's got the racecraft to match as well. He goes up into third place. There is Philip Hall right behind him, the Italian in the Sodi Kart, the red helmet of Il Trentino for the Sodi Kart racing team. Filippo Sala in fourth place. Behind is Noah Wolf. What a charge for the Brit, for the Lennox racing team, the Charles Leclerc kart of the two-time British champion. Dries van Langendonk behind in the Energy Kart, the pole sitter from round 1. In the 351, Energy is just ahead of Luna Fluxa. Lewis Francis, Zach Drummond, the Glaswegian, is behind the Australian, ahead of the Russian Jedi Skulinov, as Alpaxoy now makes his way up into 12th place as Sala slips down the inside, and the Italian into P2. Nicely done as Lindblom goes back to 4th place. Kostoja has got the race lead, the Spaniard from the Italian. There is Scott behind his countryman, the Ward Racing driver, in position 3, just ahead of Scott Lindblom in the factory entry into the hotel hairpin, drives down the inside. Scott attacks, he's up into 3rd place. They start lap 6 of 14, pre-final-B for Okjunior. Sala looks good here this morning in the Sodi Kart. The driver from Trento here in the north of Italy, not too far from the Franciacorta circuit. Less than an hour's drive away from the South Garda Karting Lonato circuit, where we kicked off the series 2 weeks ago. Sala is going to make a move on Kostoja. It is imminent. It is inevitable. He needs to, though, because Scott Lindblom is coming for the both of them. Kostoja defends. It's a good run. Does Sala in second place. He lines him up. Watch into La Foresteria, into the hotel hairpin. Will he just drive down the inside? Nicely done. Sala slips through to lead the race in the Sodi Kart. Scott up into second place. Kostoja goes back to 3rd. And then Elia Kaczynski, the pole sitter, the early race leader, in 4th place. Noah Wolf, superb, is the Brit, ahead of Salim Hernandez. Noah for the Lennox racing team from Group 10. He's passed 5 karts to be in position 5. Salim Hernandez, Luna Fluxa, Dries van Langendonk, Zach Drummond, Lewis Francis, the Australian, in P10. Right behind him now is the round 1 winner, Alpaxoy. Kostoja has a look at the back of Lindblom, and that will cost him on the exit. Needs to be wary of Eli Kaczynski, who looks over his shoulder. It's a distance back to the Colombian. Doesn't make the move just for the moment. We start lap 8 of 14. Half race distance now. They come across the line, streaming past. Unfortunately, we have lost Shilkunas, Oliver Rasmussen, and Kian Fardin. The Swiss driver has had a rotten run of luck here this weekend. He has joined the list of retirements, along with Simon Reckermacher, who did not start the race. His weekend is over, as Sala continues to lead. Also, I'd like to take the opportunity to say bonjour à Andy Consani. Regarde notre course de France. Après son grand accident hier, nous souhaitons très bien à Andy. Andy Consani with a big accident yesterday. He's back in France and watching on our live coverage this morning. Andy Consani, mate, we wish you all the best after that nasty accident, watching on live from hospital in France. Andy, we hope to see you back on track very soon. It was a nasty crash. It could have been a lot worse. Andy Consani, we wish you all the best, mate, and we'll see you back, hopefully, on track very soon. Sala does continue to lead from Scott Lindblom. There's Kostoja in P3. From Kaczynski, the field spreading out now in pre-final-B. Down into the hotel hairpin. There is Hannah Hernandez. Noah Wolf having a great run just ahead of Luna Fluxa in the Premier Kart in the Kart Republic. The former European mini champion is Luna, the youngest of the 4 Fluxa siblings, the British-Spanish drivers from Mallorca. Older brother Lucas competing in OK, also for the Kart Republic team here this weekend. And Luna in position 7, 105 drivers in the junior category. And the pre-final is coming alive in the dying stages. Sala under attack. Scott goes through into position 2, almost takes the lead away from Filippo Sala. The Tony Kart on the back of the Sodi Kart. Sala down the back straight, under all sorts of pressure from Scott Lindblom. Kostoja locks up under brakes, and Kaczynski almost runs into the back of the Spaniard. 4 laps now remaining as the graphic at the top of your screen clicks over now. Scott Lindblom on the back of Sala runs into the back of the Italian in the Sodi Kart. Kostoja, P3, watches his battle. There's Kaczynski, and Salim Hane Hernandez has rejoined the battle for the lead. The first 5, the first 6. Look at the first 10 karts, all the way back to the round 1 winner, Alpak Soy. He's got past the Australian Lewis Francis. He's behind the Scotsman, Zach Drummond, who himself is trying to find a way by Dries van Langenonk, 3.51. The Belgian in position 8, then Luna in the Prema Kart. They go down the back straight. There are 3 laps remaining at the end of this one. They scatter into the hotel hairpin. The sun is coming out to shine. The fog has finally burned off here this morning at Franciacorta. Sala from Lindblom. Kostoja goes defensive. Elliot Kaczynski is right behind him. There is the order at the bottom of your screen, which is changing every lap. It's almost changing every corner. One of the fastest circuits in the world, an average speed of 99 k's an hour for the OK Junior category. Top speed of around about 127, 128 with the perfect slipstream. Not on the start-finish straight, but the fastest part of the circuit, which they're coming on to right now. Sala gets a nice run. 2 laps remaining at the end of this one. Scott Lindblom looks over his right shoulder. Kostoja defends. Knew the attack was coming from Elliot Kaczynski, but preempted it and defended from the Swedes. In fact, the Swedish drivers in 2nd and 4th, the Spaniard in 3rd, but the Italian in the Sodi Kart. The Sigma chassis in P1. Scott trying to attack for the Tony Kart racing team. 2.5 laps remaining. Scott Lindblom with a 48.145. He's the fastest driver on the circuit. And the front 2 have pulled away ever so slightly. The second of our 10 pre-finals here this morning. Round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series, live from Franciacorta. Zach Drummond in the background, going down the inside end, taking Dries van Langenonk. The Zach attack, and the Glaswegian with that move goes up into position 7. Nicely done by the Scotsman in a 3.46 parallel behind the WSK Open Cup champion from 2022, Salim Hane Hernandez. This is the final lap of the race. It's looking good for Sala if he can defend it into La Foresteria, into the hotel hairpin. For the final time, he'll take victory in Prefinal-B. Scott Lindblom will be a contender for the final this afternoon, be assured of that. 3.20 in the factory Tony Kart entry. Probably too far back as they go down the back straight. Sala looks over his right shoulder, has a long look at the Swede, locks up under brakes, goes a little bit wide. Accelerates. That checkered flag is about to wave, and Il Trentino vince. The driver from Trento in the north of Italy in the French Sodi Kart wins Prefinal-B from Lindblom, Kostoja, and the pole sitter Elliot Kaczynski. So Sala, first year with the Sodi Kart racing team. Last year he was racing 60 Mini. He has just won Prefinal-B for OKJ in a record-breaking event. 105 drivers in the junior category, and the Italian has come out on top. The Swedes in 2 and 4 as Sala heads home. Lindblom, Kostoja, then Kaczynski. Luna was 5, Salim 6. Zap in P7 from Dries van Langenonk. Alpak Soy works himself into P9, the round 1 winner, just ahead of the Brit, Noah Wolf. Lewis Francis just ahead of Tayem Saylor. Good recovery from the German. Remember, he was on the podium in the WSK Champions Cup. Comes home in P12, just ahead of Klara Kowalczyk. So the first 2 of our 10 pre-finals are done here this morning. So we go through the order for you. Simon Reckenmacher out for the weekend, unfortunately. And Šimek, his weekend is also over. We'll take a very short break live from Franciacorta. We'll be back with the mini under 10 Prefinal-A in just a moment. Stay with us. You're watching round 2 of 2023 WSK Supermaster Series live on WSK.IT and Motorsport TV as well. Back in just a moment.
I see you walk around my way, so eating into your embrace. It's like I never went away. You glow like you can't escape the rays. You're brave enough to save the day. Love, hoping we can make it right. Come on through the race.
Back here at Franciacorta for mini pre-final-A for the under-10 category. And they'll go out and they will do 3 warm-up laps, and that is because we had to dispense with the morning warm-up, or 3 formation laps. We had to dispense with the morning warm-up because fog. It was a London P Super here at Franciacorta. We could not see one corner from the next, and therefore to give the drivers a chance to familiarise themselves with what is still a cool circuit. As the sun does come out to shine, you can see the graphic on your screen is just 5 degrees Celsius. Maybe 1 or 2 more than that, but it is still quite cool. And a little bit slippery here this morning, particularly for these young talents in the mini under 10 category. This is pre-final-A. We'll take a look at the grid for you in just a moment. It is an 8-lap pre-final. Some stunning racing as ever in the mini category. And now they've got the class to themselves. The younger of the mini drivers, Antoine Vernon, will start from pole position for the Kiddix Driver Academy, the DAP driver who took victory in round 1 with a very last lap move over Alexander Legenki. Vernon will start out of pole position alongside the Swede Maximus. Maximus could really be a contender here this weekend. Well, he certainly already is. Many people are tipping him as the driver to take a maiden debut breakthrough victory in WSK. The Swedish driver for the Swedish Ward Racing team will start out of grid 2. There are the drivers on your screen at this all-new Franciacorta circuit. This is the grid for non out of pole alongside Maximus Orn. Stan starts out of 3 alongside Nicolo Perico, Albert Tam, Nikita Botte, Eduardo Colucci and De Kleine Kumpen. That is Henri Constant out of 8. Had a good run in his final heat this morning. Didier Krieft, Xavier Lazzaro, Mark Lumetz, Carl Nelejad, Anthony Odcheba, Kila Kovalas, Stereotto, Gergio, Andrea Iannoni, Simuniek, Dayar Islamidi is the Albanian driver. Then we go to Elton head fours, the Swedes, Victor Goran, Savary Dudkowski, Miori, and unfortunately Daniel Hakkinen will not take the start. He's out of the weekend. His sister Ella Hakkinen will be racing with us later on this morning in the mini category. The original mini category. This is the under 10 version. And there is the round 1 winner to the left of your screen. From Belgium, from the French-speaking part of Belgium, that is Antoine Vernon for the Kiddix Driver Academy, the round 1 winner in the DAP up to the line. No chance of a start this time. So the final formation lap. Under the direction, the control of our race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari. We raced our final 3 heats this morning. We raced 24 times yesterday, 16 heats on Friday. And that was after qualifying took place on, thankfully, a dry circuit on Friday morning. It is a record-breaking event. 361 drivers from 53 nations as we race for the very first time at the Franciacorta circuit. Great to have your company wherever you are watching us live all around the world on wsk.it, also on Motorsport TV. And for those of you watching on the Facebook page of WSK Promotion, give the page a like, give it a share, and tell us, leave a comment, tell us exactly where in the world you are watching our live coverage of round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series. A very good morning to a very special friend of ours, Johnny, the Englishman Edgar, who joins our live coverage. Great to have you watching, mate. Johnny, who's looking forward to a big season in the FIA Formula 3 Championship. Well, his cousin George, that's George with a J, is also racing with us in WSK for the very first time. For the moment, it is Antoine Vernon on pole position, leads the field up to the line. We race. There's Albert Tam going through in 3rd place in 5.25 for Team Baby Race. Stan Fascio goes through into position 2 for Spirit Racing. Carnage at turn 2. We've lost a ton of carts. 1 is upside down. Most have managed to rejoin. It's a local yellow only for the moment. One of the Formula K carts involved. Elton head fours, but he's managed to get going again. We go full course yellow. Elton head fours just rolling to a stop. The Swede will retire. with damage to the kart. Victor Goroun also involved in that. He's got up and going very, very slowly. Dair Islami, the Albanian, the DR kart, also involved in that. There are still 2 cars on the circuit. And the medical team are down there on the scene straight away. We go full course yellow. Most of the drivers okay. There is concern for one of the drivers involved in that. Karl Nilajard, Giorgio Iannoni, and Elton Headforce. He's okay. He's actually hoping to rejoin the back of the pack, but there is concern for one driver. Looks to be okay, but precautionary checks for just the moment. We go full course yellow in Prefinal-A for 60 mini under 10s. Fanon is the race leader. Stan Fajot, Albert Tam, as Nicolo Perico in position 4. As the drivers do the right thing, they go by the accident scene at basically walking pace. Antoine has a look over his shoulder just to check out what has happened. It did happen behind him, the incident involving Karl Nilajard. Diar Islami was also there, Victor Goran. Victor did manage to get up and get going again. Andrea Iannoni, he was under investigation, but he has actually retired. Elton Headforce, he was involved. He got going again, but with too much damage, and Elton's race has come to an end. Christophe Killer for Feber Racing in the 591 Energy Kart, the other driver involved in that incident. So we go full course yellow. Antoine Fanon is the race leader on lap 2 of 8 of Prefinal-A for 60 mini under 10. An accident off screen in turn 2 of lap 1 behind the race leaders has eliminated 5 drivers. Elton Headforce, Andrea Iannoni, Butsas Giorgio, the Romanian, Christophe Killard, and Karl Nilajard. Diar Islami was also involved, but the Albanian has managed to rejoin at the back of the pack, as has the other Romanian driver, Victor Goroun. So one more lap under full course yellow, under the direction of our race director, Mr. Alessandro Ferrari, signalling for these young drivers to just speed up a little bit. They are doing the right thing. Let's give them some credit for that. We did have an incident yesterday, a full course yellow, when the drivers came past in the Okjunior category at 119 k's an hour under full course yellow. Let's just say there were a few reprimands handed out. Antoine Fanon is the race leader. He is doing the right thing. We are looking to go green next time round. This is lap 3 of 8, Prefinal-A for 60 mini under 10. Round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series here at Franciacorta. Antoine Fanon leads the field around, and we go green, and the rest of the field, being led by Stan Fajot, have been left behind. That's Albert Tam in position 3 with Nicolo Perico, the Italian, trying to find a way by. Fanon is gone. Super restart from the Belgian, and he's disappeared into the distance. He turns into turn 4. As the rest of the field break, look at the gap from the restart. Well, if that was Indianapolis, he'd be 2 corners ahead already. The green flag is flying. This is lap 4 of Prefinal-A for 60 mini under 10. He came out of the hotel hairpin as Petticoat up the inside. And Nicolò takes P3 away from the Swiss driver, Albert Tam. Into the hotel hairpin. Half race distance of Prefinal-A for 60 mini under 10. Vernon, the round 1 winner, comes across the line 1.3 seconds ahead of the rest of the field. Stan Fajot, Nicolò Petticoat, Albert Tam, Maximus Hund back into P5. Colucci, Nikita Botte, Didier Krift, the Kleine Kumben, that's Henri Constant, P9, ahead of the Estonian Mark Lumets, who rounds out the 10. Petticoat up into P2. Super move from the second generation racer, son of World Rally Championship driver Alessandro Petticoat. Nicolò Petticoat, first year in WSK racing with the Energy Course team, which have won multiple titles over the years, including this, the WSK Supermaster Series. Nicolò Petticoat goes through to position 2. The gap to Vanant, though, is a good 1.5 seconds. There's Maximus in position 5, just ahead of Eduardo Colucci and Didier Krift. Nikita Botte, Henri Kumpen, Mark Lumets, Ochepa, Lazzaro, Janos Kovalos, Simulek, Seriotto, Savary, Budkowski, Miori, Islami still in the race, as is the Romanian Victor Goran, who rounds out the field in position 19. Vanant, 1.4 seconds. Back to the Italian now, Nicolò Petticoat. Stand for the Spirit Racing team from Switzerland is the French driver. Just ahead of the Swiss driver, Albert Tam, for Team Baby Race. 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th on your screen. We go back to the Ukrainian Nikita Botte. The 5.5 LKE engine. Nikita Botte trying to go by Eduardo Colucci, Maximus Hund. Vanant disappears across the line now. We'll check the gap. It was 1.4 seconds last time. Stays the same as Nicolò Petticoat just breaks clear on the penultimate lap of the race. A fight for 3rd, 4th and 5th between Stan, Albert and Max. Down into turn 4, Nicolò Petticoat in the Energy Kart 559, starting to pull away. Started on grid 4, he's in 2nd place. The Spirit Racing entry in P3 of Stan Fajot, the French driver. Albert Tam trying to find a way by, just behind him. That's the Swede Maximus Hund. Started on the second on grid 2 for the Ward Racing team, slips back to P5. Behind him, Mark Lumets and the aforementioned Nikita Botte down the inside. Goes Stan, but Nicolò closes the door. Antoine Vanant starts the final lap of the race. The gap is 1.9 seconds. Vanant, the round 1 winner, will win the Prefinal-A as well. As Maximus Hund goes down the inside, he lined him up. That was an intelligent move from the Swede. Goes up into P4. He might make a P3 on the inside of Albert Tam. Can he get the drive? Can he get the drive? He's on the outside though. Runs out of room. Stan under pressure from Albert. And then Maximus from Sweden. Vanant is gone. The DAP disappears down the road. The round 1 winner will take victory in Prefinal-A. This is the last lap of the 60 mini under 10 category. Prefinal-A, a yellow flag, full course yellow in interrupted races. Stan defends. He white lines it. The track is 10 metres wide into the hotel hairpin. Don't tell me he's managed to hold them off. There's the ticket flag for the Belgian. He wins it. Antoine Vanant. And across the line in position 2, Stan Fajot takes it from Albert Tam. Maximus Hund, Nicolò Petticoat after running in 2nd place in P5. .3 seconds the margin between the Belgian and the Frenchman. The Kiddix driver performance Belgian wins it from the Spirit Racing entry of Stan Fajot. Albert Tam for Baby Race in 3rd place. Maximus P4, Nicolò P5, Mark Lumets, Antonio Chepa, Henri Kumpen in P8 ahead of Xavier Lazzaro. And Nikita Botte rounds out the 10. Colucci, Seriotto, Janos Kovalos, Simonek, Miori, Dudkowski, that's Savary ahead of Diyar Islami and Victor Gouran. For Real Racing, who was involved in that incident, does come home in position 19. We'll take a very short break here from Franciacorta Prefinal-B for 60 Mini Under 10 in just a moment.
Chase has been drawn out enough. I'll wait till you move on. The moon into the stardust has been too long.
I feel like I linger between the words to say the words to remember. Now we're here to take control over your body, over your soul. We're gonna take back everything, lose it all.
Back here at Franciacorta for Prefinal-B for the 60 Mini Under 10 category. Firstly, a little bit of news, a yellow flag, full course yellow interrupted Prefinal-A, but we can bring you the good news that the drivers involved in that, and there were 6 of them, they are all A-OK, which is great to hear, particularly when it involves the youngest drivers here racing out of the 361 here for round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series. A big crash on turn 2 of lap 1 of Prefinal-A, but the drivers are all fine. This is Prefinal-B for the 60 Mini Under 10 category. Antoine Venant just taking a dominant victory courtesy of a great restart when the track went green once again. Akili Ray in the CRG 553 will start from pole position alongside Alexander Legenki, who took victory, remember, in the season opening WSK Champions Cup at Lonato, with a fabulous move on Venant on the very last corner of the very last lap to take victory. The kart's out on the circuit to complete 3 formation laps, and that's because we did not have a chance to conduct a morning warm-up this morning due to the fog which rolled in from the mountains in the north of Italy, coming down from Switzerland, and the track was absolutely blanketed in fog, and we could not see from Well, we couldn't see where we were walking virtually. So 3 formation laps to give the drivers a chance to acclimatise themselves with this 1,301 metre circuit. The karts on the circuit being led by Achille Ray, Alexander Legenki, Davide Moscardi. As we take a look at the grid, Ray out of 1, Legenki out of 2, Moscardi, and then Orlando in the Formula K car, Mason Robertson. Well, the British Spaniard starts alongside Sebastian Escandari. He was the fastest qualifier, the Australian. Roland Nash, Alessandro Truscio. Then we go to Giacomo Giusto, Orlando Rovelli, Branislav Renka, Mini Kutskov, that's Daniel, head of Leo Gorski, Petsuto, Tobagai, Lorenzo Di Pietrantonio for Virus Racing, Zvinga, Andrei Kruglik, Alex Malotta for Firefly Racing, Luca Makinen, Nanem, Shahinaj, Yanni and Lee will not take the start. Unfortunately, Lingwang Li is out for AV Racing. Alessandro Truscio in position 8, wrapped up the SCUSA Winter Series in Miami, Florida 7 days ago on the other side of the Atlantic Ocean, courtesy of a 3rd place finish in the final round at Miami. A few drivers racing in that event, where the conditions were probably about 20 degrees warmer than what we've got here in the north of Italy this morning. Achille Ray starts on pole position in the 5.53 CRG and starts to form the field up ahead of Alexander Legenki. In fact, alongside Alexander in 5.01 for team driver. Now the field form up. This is Prefinal-B. All contact in the back. And we've got one car which has stalled. You can see there was contact as the field came to, well, almost a stop after the 3 formation laps. I'll tell you who that driver was in just a moment. It was Shahinaj. Laurent Shahinaj for Spirit Racing. Now rejoins, but he's a long way down the field, is Laurent, and will struggle to catch up to the back of the pack for Prefinal-B. For 60 Mini, the under 10 category. There is Ray to the left of your screen. On pole position, alongside him to your right, is Alexander Legenki. There is Laurent at the back of the pack. Just catches up in time after coming to a sudden stop as the field formed up on their 3rd formation lap. Coming up to the line, Ray to the left of your screen on pole position, and we race, and a few drivers at the back of the pack have missed the start badly, including Lorenzo Di Pietrantonio and Alex Malotta. Ray with a perfect start from pole position. Leads down into turn 3 and 4, goes defensive already. Alexander Legenki from grid 2 has dropped back to 4th position. Australian Sebastian Escandari. The Tony Kart 5.51 put the kart on pole position in qualifying on Friday. There he is back in 6th place at the moment as they go down the back straight for the first time. A 53.736 for Sebastian Escandari. The Australian goes down the inside and moves back up into position 5, pole position in qualifying, his first ever pole position. And the last Australian to do that, I think we have to go back to Jack Doohan at Adria in the WSK Final Cup in 2000 and I reckon it was 2016, possibly 2017. Sebastian Escandari moves up into 5th place with that move. Mason Robinson, that is the Scottish Spaniard just ahead of him. Sebastian's going to make a move though, as Ray leads from Davide Moscardi and Alexander Legenki. Just behind Sebastian is Giacomo Giusto, Michele Orlando, that is, in the Formula K kart ahead of Roland Nage, Orlando Rovelli. And Alessandro Truscio struggling a little bit this weekend as Moscardi goes down the inside and makes the move, and the AV Racing driver will lead across the line for the 2nd time. Legenki. Place. Michele Orlando, 5.63. Fastest driver on the circuit, started out at Group 4 in the Formula K kart. There he is, just going down behind the Australian. In the Tony Kart, that is Sebastian Eskandari, Alexander Legenki on your screen, leading the race, but I can tell you there's news coming and it's not good for the Ukrainian. He's just been given a 5-second penalty, and that drops him down to 22nd position, despite the fact that he's front and center on your screen. Legenki for Team Driver, the WSK Champions Cup champion, a 5-second penalty. That will hand the official race lead to Achilles. Ray with the lead from Moscardi. There is Sebastian Eskandari, P4 on the road, but P3 in the race. With that 5-second penalty, Legenki in P18 behind Mäkinen. Lenny Mäkinen, 6.41 for Paralin Finland. Here's a position ahead in the race, not on the road. The fastest driver on the circuit is Mini Kutskov in position 9 with a 54.179. That is Daniel behind Orlando Rovelli from the famous Rovelli family. His uncle Felice win 1977. A generation ago. Orlando in the top 10. There he is. 5.44 behind Truscio, who now makes his way up through the pack. The jet lag wearing off for Alessandro. The French-American, the newly crowned SCUSA Winter Series champion, goes through. He's in position 7 behind Mason Robertson. Achille Ray second on the road, but first in the race. The driver who leads on the circuit, has been given a 5-second penalty. Alexander Legenki, and officially that puts him down behind his countryman, the other Ukrainian, Andrei Kruglik. Petsuto, Branislav Renka just ahead. Two Slovakians. So Achille Ray may not even know that Legenki has been penalised. As Kutskov with a 54.179 in position 8, the fastest driver on the circuit. There he is in the background, trying to make a move. Mason Robertson, 6.50 as well for Team Driver. Now Michele Orlando with a 54.166 drives down the inside and goes through to third on the road, second in the race. The Formula K driver is the fastest on track at the moment. Sebastian Eskandari just loses a little bit of pace with the 4 leaders, the 3 officially leading with a 5-second penalty. We are checking, and that puts Legenki P13. So as he pulls away, as the field spread out, the damage, it is being limited somewhat. A 5-second penalty, just repeating, for the driver who leads the race on your screen, Alexander Legenki. K's an hour. Michele Orlando with the Formula K on the back of the CRG. Sebastian Eskandari losing touch just a little bit with the leaders. Good drive from Giacomo Giusto just behind us. Ray takes the lead back on track. With the penalty, Legenki still in position 13. This is the penultimate lap. Prefinal-B for 60 Mini, the under 10 category. The order officially at the bottom of your screen, and we can see right there Legenki to the bottom left in position 13, despite the fact that there he is on your screen in position 3. Ray has just been passed. Orlando in the Formula K leads. Disregard the driver in P2. Sebastian Eskandari is catching all 4 of them. 5th on the road, he's 4th in the race. We go back to Giacomo Giusto. Daniel Kutskov up into 6th place from grid 12. Achille Ray, Davide Moscardi in 5.82 for AV Racing. So it is Orlando from Ray and Moscardi with Legenki in position 13 in amongst that battle. Here comes Sebastian. 5.51 in the Tony Kart. Had lost touch with the leaders, but there he is right behind the penalised Ukrainian for Team Driver. Goes through his P4 on the road. He's 3rd in the race. It's looking good for Michele Orlando, who's found some really good speed at the right time of the the fastest part of the circuit, already defends. Watch Ray try and line him up. As Sebastian, who may not be aware that the driver he's pushing into the hairpin has been penalised. The final corner, the checkered flag for Prefinal-B for the 60 mini under 10 category. Across the line they come. Orlando wins it. Ray in P2, Sebastian Eskandari, the fastest qualifier in P3. We wait, and with that 5-second penalty, Alexander Legenki in position 13. So a costly starting infringement for the Ukrainian. Drops him down to 13th place overall. And with that, 6th in the standings. So it looks as though the team driver, Alexander Legenki, will start on the outside of row 3. This is provisional for the final later this afternoon. Antoine Venant, courtesy of winning Prefinal-A, has just 5 points ahead of Achille Ray on 23 points, Maximus Un on 29. So Venant will start on pole position for the final round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series later this afternoon. Orlando wins at Prefinal-B, Ray P2, Sebastian Eskandari, the Australian 3, in amongst the Italians. Moscardi, Giusto for the Modern Kart team. Rovelli, Gorski, good drive from Leo to come through the field. Kutskov, Alex Malotto for the Firefly Racing team. And Truchot in position 10. Mason Robinson, Roland Naj, the 2 Ukrainians. Legenki with the 5-second penalty. Andrei Kruglik, Branislav Renka, Svinga, Makkanen, Pezzuto, Tobagai and Gainem. Just ahead of Lorenzo Di Pietro Antonio, Yanni and Shahinaj, who went around making contact in the formation lap, the final finisher. Orlando wins it, and Venant will start from pole position. That is provisional, of course, for round 2 of the WSK Supermaster Series. Stay with us live from Franciacorta. We continue racing with the mini category in just a moment. Back here at Franciacorta for Prefinal-A for the original 60 mini category. Noah Baglan will start on pole position for Prefinal-A. The Brit has just been brilliant here this weekend. Of course, he won the pre-final at Lonato as well. The iCart entry, the Londoner, to start out a pole position, but the threat comes from grid 2 in the form of Iskander Zulfikari. Zulfikari, who won the WSK Final Cup, the Champions Cup, and round 1 of the championship at Lonato 2 weeks ago. for Team Baby Race, Bareshkin and Baguti on the second row of the grid. We'll take a look at the grid for you as they come across the line to start their third formation lap, courtesy of the warm-up being cancelled this morning due to the heavy fog, which rolled in on the newly reconstructed Franciacorta circuit. This is the grid. Baglin on pole, Zulfikari out of 2, Bareshkin and Baguti on the second row. Asher Oxteen, another American. Then it's Bruno Grich, Melvin Kalaustian, Vladimir Ivanikov, Russo and Bogdan Cosmo Christopher. Kingsley Zhang, Mattia Mellis, Manuel Miguez, Matsinas, Kerdal, Atsiza, Lorenzo D'Amico, the Spanish-American Nicolas Stanley, Riven Esteves, Matvey Gurgunov starts out of grid 20. Alexander Korthanev, Antonio Kokkinella on the 11th row of the grid. We go to Samchik, Billy Van Stavren struggling in 24th position. Mitanek, Stixon, Shushlovsky. Then we go to Valle, Luke Talbach on 29, alongside Lenzo Carter, Samuel Cecchetto, Stadler, Svoboda, Kaidun, Chaitil, Gasporovic. And on the final row of the grid, Max Sulin, they come up to the line, go round one more time. Noah Baglin with a brilliant run throughout the heats. First year in WSK competition, the iKart entry, starting out at pole position with multiple heat victories. Has got really good speed in the 515 Miami Powered Kart Republic. Iskander Zulfikari, he's driving an Miami Powered Paralene. He has been the driver to beat in 60 Mini over the past 6 months or so. Iskander taking victory at Lonato 2 weeks ago. And tragically, that was just 18 hours or so before that incredible